Hello, good morning. Well, it's technically morning, or late night, whatever mode you're in. Um, this particular topic definitely warrants a live video, um, as I am actually sitting on the subway now, actually making my way home. Ironically, it's about the damn MTA system in New York. Hey, Helen. Hey, gorgeous. How you doing? So I just read an article that was published by the New York Daily News that opened my eyes, and I, quite frankly, I wanted to absolutely laugh. So I shared a link on my timeline in case if y'all did not catch it, because it was literally just posted maybe within about the last 10-15 minutes. So it's basically hot off the press. But give it a read. It's proposing basically that that the MTA would take away 24 hours, 7 days a week service on its mass transit system. Now, I want y'all to really imagine this. But before I do that, I want to also add something interesting. Hey, Katie. See, Boston, the subway system runs basically, you could say 20 hours a day, 20 out of 24 hours a day. So we're already used to the idea of not having a 24-hour running transit system, but taking that away from New York, in a city with 80.5 million people, in order to try to get the system up to speed. I'm sorry, you need to stop smoking. Stop smoking completely. Helen, I'm not making this up. Go look at the link I just shared on my timeline, courtesy of the New York Daily News. Seriously, they want to take away 24/7 service for the MTA, replace overnight service with shuttle buses. I know right now this is not going to sit well with New Yorkers, and it's already striking a nerve because I'm already thinking to myself, how in the bloody hell are people supposed to get home from work that work late nights? Helen, it's a very legitimate question. Has the MTA gone fucking mad? See, I'm going to say this bluntly. People thought I was fucking crazy when I told them reasons why I was leaving New York for good. I wasn't fucking crazy. See, people think, well, this probably would never happen, but no, you see, all it starts out with is just a small fucking idea. That's all it starts out with. And then it turns into something much bigger and bigger and bigger. So the idea that the MTA no longer having 24/7 service is, trust me when I say this, it's a horrible idea for a city like New York. Forget about the pride aspect. Yeah, we are the city that never sleeps. Everybody in the world knows that. However, but when you talk about people that work graveyard shift, that work late nights, I'm a person that works late nights. But see, in a city like Boston, where you don't have service that runs past 1 a.m., you have to plan accordingly in terms of your transport getting to and from home. See, Ricky, this is why I drive. You're fortunate that you drive, but not everybody has that option of driving. So, but see, now the MTA doing that, I'm telling you, I am going to be laughing my ass off. God forbid that this idea comes to fruition. And the way that the MTA is operating at this point in junction, it wouldn't even surprise me. It really wouldn't. But the thought of The removal of 24-hour service. Honestly, I would say y'all need to be y'all need to be concerned. Y'all need to be really concerned. In conjunction, they want to raise fare prices, but take away late night service. Okay, good luck. Good luck. And Helen, and I want to also add this point as well. When I was in New York, I didn't have a car. My only mode of transportation was the fucking subway. Let's be very real. I did not have a car. My only mode of transportation is the subway. Same thing here in Boston. I mean, the thing was that back then in New York, obviously you have late night service. The train never stops running. I mean, Helen, I'm so serious. The one thing I would, Ricky, if you're still watching, go on the New York Daily News Facebook page. I'm serious. The article was just published. The people that work alongside the MTA or excuse me, or in fact proposing this idea. And the MTA, from all looks of it, looks like they're actually pretty down with the idea. Oh, eliminate service. Okay, at least we'll have time to work on the subway system, which is basically falling apart by the seams. The fuck, Katie. For me, it's mostly the T. Katie, I'm not talking about the T here in Boston. I'm talking about the subway system back in New York. So you're a little bit off topic. But yeah, I wouldn't do a live video this late at night without probable reason. I never have, but this is something that is worth talking about. Like, oh yeah, Helen, the subway system is well over 100 years old, and Ricky, I mean, honestly, it makes sense logistically. Now I know. That'll be the subway down one that's now pulling out of the station. But anyway. Next stop. Yeah. So as I was saying, they're doing it because they need to fix their transit system so bad. It's not even a joke. Like, Ricky, in fact, go ahead. Share why exactly. I mean, just want to give you a glimpse of what the orange line looks like here in Boston. This is Chinatown, but howdy. What's going on, bud? Hold up. You're breaking up. What happened?
Hold on. Headphones.
Yeah.
Okay, that should be a little bit better.
Oh, a lot, way better. Way better.
Okay, good. So here is the reasoning why MTA is actually cutting their overnight service. You'll love this one. It's the Uber and the Lyft services that are now predominantly taking money away from the city. The same way that it takes away with the car services, because now if you look at it, car services are now closing down because of Uber and Lyft.
Okay, let me understand this clearly. Because they feel that Uber and Lyft is taking away money from the transit system, they're taking a so their idea is to completely end late night service for the
Well,
MTA.
think of it this way. The modern age of technology, okay?
Uh-huh.
You have an app on your phone that not only gets you a reserved car, but gets you in somewhat of a safer environment, okay? A more
Yeah.
comfortable ride home, and you're always guaranteed a trip. Instead of somebody worrying about the train schedule and saying, okay, I just missed this bus or this train by like 2 minutes, and the next one doesn't come for another 45,
Yeah.
you're punching it up on your phone. Oh shit, there's an Uber car right around the corner. Okay, I'll spend a few dollars more, but I know I'll get home. So you just click on the button and boom, there's your ride. It's guaranteed.
Yeah.
This is why
Yeah.
there were 4 car services in Marine Park. 4.
Mm.
3 of them are now closed
Really? Wow.
because of Uber and Lyft.
Wow.
So at that point, I understand, Helen, that it's cheaper to take the subway, but at the same rate, though,
It is. Yeah.
the $2.75, $3, or whatever they want to raise it to, okay, is going to get you even shittier service or cut down service. And to top it all off, you're getting a comfortable ride home. Actually sitting in a car with a comfortable seat. A guy maybe listening to the radio or better conversation.
Yeah.
You get what you pay for. You're getting a safer ride.
And you know, it's funny because, you know, I want to touch something that Helen said, and she mentioned about like that if she were to take the subway, that either the Uber or Lyft. Well, here in Boston, that rings very true. But however, see, I want to bring up an interesting dynamic that they did here, starting last year, before I moved there. That I think that what I'm seeing New York is doing now, but I feel like it's worked here in Boston, but it may backfire for New York. I'm gonna explain it to you now. What it is that the MBTA, the Boston Transit System, the subway system here in Boston, last year they used to have late night service that would extend as late until around maybe 2:30 a.m. and service would resume at 5:30 a.m. basically on weekends. They took that away. So what ended up happening is that you have companies like Uber that know there's no subway service. So the only option to really get home is either you walk, or you take a taxi or an Uber. So what they did, so they started doing these surcharges where, if it's, for example, it's late Saturday night, 1 a.m. What'll happen is that, and this has happened to me 3 times. Every 1:30 in the morning, I'm out in Back Bay, somewhere in the downtown area in Boston, and the subway has stopped running for the night. They'll charge just for Uber Pool, by the way, just for Uber Pool, they'll charge a good $15 for Uber Pool. And then now if you want to do your own Uber, you're paying at least $25. That's minimum. That's also depending on where you want to go as well.
But again, it's not the fact. It's not. I'm sorry to interject, but it's not the fact of being that there's not going to be supply and demand. Because on that rate, if the city, regardless of whether it be Boston or New York City, Uber is going to say, you know what? If you really want this ride, you're going to pay that money.
That's true.
That's exactly how they can get around it. That's exactly how they can get around it. There's not anybody that can make a physical excuse or complaint about it. And if that were the case, I guarantee you if that happens here in New York, Uber or Lyft will make a ton of cash.
Lots of money. Lots of money.
And believe it or not, at this point right now, even though they've killed off car services, and you still have to get a TLC plate for your car, you know how much people now are going to be making more per fare? how much more money they're putting into their pocket.
So much more, yeah.
Exactly the point. So at this point here, again, it's more of a supply and demand, and it's guaranteeingly enough. If it does happen here in New York City, then they have just literally killed off everything. New York
And
City can't afford. New York City can't afford to know that they're losing their money to a cab company.
yeah,
That's
which
exactly the
is,
point.
and which is concerning in a sense of you gotta think about the people that not only that work late nights, but the people that, quite frankly, they can't always afford taking an Uber or a Lyft home because after a while it does add up, especially living expenses. Whereas when you have the comfort knowing that okay, the subway is running, but obviously it's not as frequent, but it's there. You don't have that worry. But yes, you're gonna have the safety concerning when I'm traveling late at night and being
But
very much.
here's the other situation to that. For example, at my job, or what I call a job, if I'm still even employed by them, there's not really public transportation. Well, if the city closes down, let's say the bus is at like 1 o'clock,
Mhm.
okay, and there are people getting out of that store that work the overnight, they're not getting to a train.
That is true.
There's the local bus that would have normally been there is not going to be there. So that's
Yeah.
going to force them to spend extra money. Now, a normal cab ride from where I am would be about $8, $9. But if you've already killed off all the cab companies, what are you going to What are you going to get? You're going to get an Uber or a Lyft, and you're
Hmm.
going to end up having to either pay it to the train, or for that matter, you might as well just find out what the ride is home and say, fuck it, I'm just going to have to spend that money that way.
That's true.
Again, it's supply and demand. And at this point right now, if the city doesn't understand the supply of having public transportation for those people that are be traveling after hours, which you'd have to consider
Hmm.
what you're going to concern yourself with as of after hours, then it might be a different story. But if you, God forbid, if they shut it down for, let's say, 3 hours, let's say from 2 to 5,
Yeah. Yeah.
okay? If they calmed it down or slowed down the service from 3 to 5 or 2 to 5, you
Hmm.
can get away with a lot. Not on the weekends, though. During the week, maybe.
Oh, the week, yes. You see, in like during the week, I feel like in New York you can get away with that, but weekends absolutely not, absolutely not. And it's like for those that I'm looking at from two different sides: the people that work weekends and the people that work late nights, and the people that are just out just to be out, whether they're tourists or just out to go party or whatever. But now you take that away. Now the thing, like for example, what they do in Boston, last trains, depending on where you're leaving, they leave around 12:45 in the morning or 1 a.m. Service would resume on this is now weekdays, resume at 5:15 a.m. 4 hour difference where there is no subway or there's no bus or whatever. Okay, but you're talking about in a much larger city in a much larger region that is New York, where some people that are commuting from one extreme to another extreme. Like for example, if someone was working in Marine Park, but they got to commute all the way out to Jamaica or Jamaica Estates. I mean, the idea of
They're screwed.
you're fucked. There's no if ands or buts about it. That's why the late night buses is almost a necessity, and the late night trains are almost a necessity because, again, the sheer size of New York as compared to Boston, there's a sizable difference. Boston, you can
So
get
that
away. New York, not
so
so
then
much.
the one thing I would say then is if they're going to actually take and they're going to trim service down, so to speak,
Hmm.
then they should actually do a study, or give it like a few weeks to see when your high peak times are of travel and when your low peak times of travel are. If you find,
Yeah.
for example, Thursday morning from, let's say, 2 to 4:30, Okay? Okay,
Yeah.
yes, it's 2.5 hours, and if you have to abridge instead of change or lose your travel, then that's when they should do it. But if they just do it cold turkey and say, okay, we're not doing any train service from 1 to 5, then you've really just decided to cut off the world from traveling,
Yeah.
which is again either going to force you to learn how to drive, and there's no parking in New York City as it is to begin with,
And
or
traffic is
you're going
already
to be
horrible as
spending that,
is.
yeah, and then you're going to spend money putting that into an Uber or a Lyft. Because they're not going to be able to, there's no way to do an actual shuttle from, let's say, downtown. Hey, you're back.
Yeah, I'm here. I'm going through a bit of a dead zone on my end on the subway right now. But yeah,
Yes, because you went through the Boston Bermuda Triangle.
yeah, basically, yeah. No, and funny enough, there really is such a thing, especially on the Orange Line, where there was like, especially when you get close, when you leave the downtown area, you get closer to the suburbs where I live. There's areas where on the line where you just lose service altogether. But the only things that your picture is frozen, and I mean,
I have no idea. Although I was standing still for a few minutes. I'm actually pretty good at that.
yeah. Hold up a second. Hold on. So see, what I'm gonna do is this. I want to restart the live video. Hopefully we have a picture that's actually moving, because your picture is frozen entirely, and then
Oh,
we'll see what
wow.
happens. Yeah, your picture is literally frozen entirely. Like you're looking in one
Yeah,
direction.
because my head's not moving, but I'm moving my phone like a retard.
Yeah, like it's yeah, like the picture on my end is frozen, so it'll show up a little bit weird. But
All right, why
I
don't
want to go ahead.
let me know when you get home, because I have to take the sleeping one home.
All right, bet.
All right?
All right, we'll do.
All righty, man.
All right.